Hello everyone and welcome back to my vlog. My name is Brendon Hansford and I'm a choreographer based in London. So I'm joined on my sofa today by Adam Parson.
Hello.
Who is an internationally renowned choreographer who teaches at the Edge Performing Arts in LA. Me and him met about 2 months ago teaching on a dance camp in Italy called Canero at the Luna Dance Centre.
Ciao tutti!
And we hit it off, we became really, really good friends. So when he told me he was coming to London, I was like, dude, you've got to stay with me, come and teach some of my classes. And honestly, he's one of the most inspiring teachers I've ever been taught by.
Thank you.
So of course, I had to get him on the couch for an interview. And so he's here. So by the magic of camera, we are going to flick onto Adam, who's a much better looking version of me. Well, hello again, Adam.
Hello.
So before we dive in, can you tell us a bit of background about Adam Parson?
Okay, my name is Adam Parson, obviously. I was born in Nairobi, Kenya, and I moved to LA I moved to Washington when I was 15 years old, and I didn't start dancing till 26. I was a systems engineer and computer operator for that time until I found dance, and then found dance, fell in love with it, and moved to LA and studied, trained, toured, did some stuff, and here I am.
Well, that kind of answers my next question, which was, how did you get into dance?
Yeah.
So, do you want to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, oddly enough, my sister asked me to take one of her best friends to class because his mom couldn't take him, so I said, drive into Washington, D.C., which is where I was working at the computer company, and I'll drive you to the studio afterwards, which is what I did. I took them to the studio, heard all this, and I said, what is all that noise? I walked in, and saw all these girls being thrown in the air, and all these turns, and jumps to the floor, and I was like, what is this? I gotta find out. I went to the teacher, and I said, what is this? She goes, well, it's dance class, and I said, I want to do this, and she's like, who are you? I said, my name is Adam. She goes, have you ever danced before? And I said, no. And she said, well, maybe you shouldn't, and you're a computer operator, you're making a lot of money, you shouldn't do this job. I was like, I'm going to do it either way. So she said, okay, you're going to have to start dancing with the little 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds. I was like, I don't have a problem with that. And so I started dancing with little 8-year-old and 9-year-olds, and I built up my training. During the training session, I met Elan, who was a ballet teacher, who really drove ballet home to me and really brought the point home. I fell in love with ballet instantly because I realized it was going to get me to where I wanted to be the fastest. From there, I went to a national convention where there was a competition that Tony Selsick was a part of, and he picked me to be one of the dancers to come to LA. So jumped in a car with my friend, we drove to LA, I did the workshop, I found about the Edge Performing Arts Center, I auditioned for the scholarship, and I got onto it, and I was there for a year. From there, right off of that scholarship thing, I went and auditioned for the Power Rangers, and I became the Blue Power Ranger, and I ended up going on tour around the world with the Power Rangers, and that kind of just started everything. I came back after that, and I did a couple of dance jobs on TV. I did a music video for Prince. I danced for Bill Clinton at the White House doing ballet, which was really cool. Done little odds and ends and gigs here, and then I decided I wanted to be a choreographer and a teacher, so I started working on my craft as a teacher. I started with 2 people in my class for, I think, 6 months, and then just kept building it and building it and building it. Eventually got to a bigger place where the people at the Edge Performing Arts Center started to believe in me and gave me a better time slot. My classes got bigger, and I realized that I wanted to become a choreographer through the teaching. From there, I met a lot of dancers that weren't working in the industry as much as they wanted to, and I thought to myself, there's a lot of dance that could be happening right now, but these dancers aren't getting to do it because, slots are so limited in LA. So I think I'm going to start a dance company. So I started Commonality Dance Company, and I think I started that maybe 18 years ago, and I'm here now, traveling around the world as a teacher and a choreographer. Commonality is still going strong, and we'll get back to Commonality in a minute.
What was a defining moment in your dance career?
There were several defining moments in my dance career, and this is going to sound kind of silly, but I remember I was in class with one of my teachers. It was a ballet teacher, and I remember putting my leg up in the air and turning the leg out in second, and she looked at me and said, "Oh my God, you turned out, your body's learning, you're learning to be a proper dancer." And I will never forget that. Karen Person was her name. I'll never forget that moment because I realized that hard work really pays off, and I was doing something to further my career. That was one defining moment. Another defining moment was when I was actually doing choreography for the Edge Performing Arts show, where it's a scholarship number, and it was the first time that my choreography had been on stage. And I remember it happening, and one of my mentors, Terry Best, who was sitting next to me, said, "You've arrived." I'll never, ever forget that moment because that was when I realized I was going to do something. And it actually scared the crap out of me when she said that. I actually went outside and had a little freak out because I realized that there's no going back. And then I moved forward from there. Those are two major defining moments in my life as a choreographer. And meeting Prince as a dancer was like a serious highlight of my life. Seriously, Prince, come on.
Who inspires you?
I would have to say I'm going to go with my teachers, and I have 3 teachers that are my main sources of inspiration. Actually, I have 5 teachers that are my main sources of inspiration, only because they pushed me and they really helped me be who I am, and they're still these amazing teachers. Billy Goodson was one of my main teachers, and he is an amazing choreographer and an amazing teacher. He instilled in me be able to do it the way that you do it and own it. Keith Clifton, who is a ballet teacher and a jazz teacher and a tap teacher and a musician and a drummer and all these amazing things, he was the one that really inspires me and continues to inspire me because I always think about the lessons that he gave me when I was in class. He was the one that let me ask as many questions as I wanted to because I was in a group of 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and I was 26 on the scholarship program. So he understood that the questions that I was asking, so I could catch up as fast as I could. Terry Best is one of my main teachers and still one of my main teachers. She's one of my very good friends now. She really taught me the essence of flow and movement and energy. Helene Phillips is one of my main teachers, and she constantly still teaches me the meaning of dance and how to be a dancer and how to move your body in the right way. Cinderella Che is my other teacher, and she is one of my teachers that really instilled in me the sense of be who you are 100%. Own who you are as a dancer. Own who you are as a person. Then you can be the best dancer that you can be. I call these people my Yodas, so they're the Yodas of my life, because you've got to have those Yodas in your life that inspire you, that constantly drive you. You can go back and talk to them, that help you nurture yourself as an artist, as a human being, as a choreographer, all those things. You've got to have those Yodas, and those are my continual inspirations in my life. And obviously your family, and obviously, other people, but those are the 5 that in my dance career have really inspired me.
Are there any dance jobs that stick out to you, and why?
Well, the Prince job that I was talking about was a monumental job that stuck out for me because I was one of 50 of the top dancers in LA that got the job. And so for me, it was one of the most amazing things that made me realize I'm a good dancer, and it made me realize that I can do this job. I think the audition was huge. I think there were about 300 people for this audition, and he only picked 50 people. So the fact that I got chosen was a huge deal. And I mean huge. I danced with Brian Friedman. I danced with Tavares Wilson. I danced with Stacy Harper. I danced with all these other people that were in the industry, and we all got the job together. It was a really, really cool event. And meeting Prince was an amazing experience because he was such an amazing artist already as a musician, but watching him work and watching him operate in a setting of creating his own music video with his crew and the dancers, I'll never forget the lessons that I learned from him, which I'm going to tell you guys about much later.
Okay, we now know who Adam Parson is, so I want to ask you a few questions about the industry.
Okay.
What changes have you seen in the dance industry and dancers over your career, and what do you think has influenced it?
I'd have to say, the main change that I've seen is dance class. Back in the day, I was taking 7 classes a day, and it was an hour and a half classes. Each and every class was a warm-up and across the floor, and then choreography. And when I say each and every class, that was the tap class, the ballet class, the hip-hop class, the jazz class, the musical theater class, the contemporary class, the modern classes. They all had the same format of warm-up, across the floor, and then choreography. And it really helped me develop my sense as an artist and my sense as a dancer. I say this in my class all the time. Warm-up is about what your body can do, and dance is about what your body can say. So if you don't know how to warm up, you don't know how your body works, you can't really speak as well as you want to as a dancer. So for me, I think that's what's missing in dance today. I've seen people's classes, and they'll be an hour and 15 minute, hour and a half long, and they'll say, okay, warm yourselves up. And I've never understood that concept, because the person that's teaching that class, his body moves that way naturally. So it is your responsibility as the teacher to kind of warm these dancers up the way that your body moves, so that they don't injure themselves. It's really important for me for you to understand how important that is as a dancer. So I think that's one change that I've seen. I think one of the great things that's happened is YouTube has come along, and YouTube has really opened up a world for everybody, more people to be heard as artists and more people to be heard as dancers and choreographers. I think it's a great platform. However, I think this platform can be detrimental to the art of dance, only because it's saturating the market. I'm sure it's doing it in other art forms, but I'm just talking about dance in general. It's saturating the art form of dance in a way that I don't think is very helpful or beneficial. And I can only speak and say that I've had a lot of people see things on YouTube or Instagram and see these dancers, and they're getting all these amazing hits and all these amazing, things that are happening, and they'll bring these people in, and they're not the kind of people that they thought they were. So I feel like that's kind of a letdown in the dance community, and I feel like it's not the responsibility of just the teachers that are getting picked. I think it's the responsibility of the people that are picking the teachers as well. I just had a little rant on Facebook and social media about a situation where some dancers have come in, American choreographers have come in, and have really not treated other people well as artists, and it's detrimental to us all, not just the Americans in English. It's detrimental to us all as a society of dancers, where the governments of both of our countries really kind of don't give a crap about dance and the art form. And if we don't start bolstering each other up together as a group, we're gonna slowly fall out. There's a lot of great things that are happening in America in the dance industry, and we need to bring them over to England, but we also need to be together as a group, because if we're not together as a group, we're not going anywhere.
Okay, so next question. My vlog is about educating the dancer into thinking like an entrepreneur and treating themselves as a business, utilizing business skills and social media. What key advice would you give to dancers who are trying to make it in this industry?
Ooh, research. Research. Know your product. Know your business. Excuse me. My friend Roberto always says you have to know your lane, and what he means by that is you have to know if you drive in the slow lane, the middle lane, or the fast lane. You got to know what kind of driver you are. Don't expect to be the fast driver and drive in the slow lane, because you'll annoy them. Don't be the slow driver and go in the fast lane, because you'll annoy them. Stay in the middle, it's fine, but you got to know your lane. So I, as a very cute African-American man that's about 5'6", cannot expect to be dancing at the Moulin Rouge that's taking 6'1" and above men that are very like long. I'm very stocky, as you can see. I'm still cute, but I'm very stocky. But they're very, I can't expect those people to change their lane, because that's not me. So why sit there and fight for something that I know it's not going to work for me? It doesn't make any sense. When I auditioned for Janet Jackson, I was this close, and I went and asked the choreographer. I said, hey, Tina, what do you think I could have done to do this job? And she goes, you're just not right for the part, you were too short. And she said something else, I can't remember what it was. She said, you're too short and you just weren't hitting that line right. those are things that I took back for myself and said, okay, I've got to work on that. I've really got to work on making myself hit the lines better. I can't do anything about my height, but at least I knew what that was about. So really know your lane. That's the first thing. The second thing is, when I say research, I mean know the choreographer that you might be working for. Know the history of the styles of dance that you're going to be doing. Know how you're going to be doing a job, like how does this person operate on set. Actually, learn how to be on set. So you're not the person that the producer or the director looks over and goes, oh, there's those dancers again, just messing around, being goofy. Don't be that person, you guys. Be the person that sits there and the director or producer goes, wow, those guys are professional. Let's use them again for the next gig. It's our job to make these people realize what our art form can do for them. And the more that we can do that, the more they're going to take us seriously. Know how to dress for the job that you're doing. So don't think because you just bought this great Prada outfit that's blue when the audition calls for black that everybody's going to care. They're not going to care. Know how to dress in the business. And I would say the last thing that I would want to talk about in terms of research and being an entrepreneur in your business is you've got to know your product. If you don't know who you are, I think you have to understand that as an entrepreneur in the dance industry, you are still a product. We all talk about brand, and this is my brand, this is my brand. I'm going to raise my brand. Great, but if your brand doesn't stand for anything, there's no point. So your product has to be really strong before your brand can be really strong. You can't go out there and just say, this is who I am, and there's nothing to back it up. I hope that makes sense to you guys. It's like, and I brought up Prada and Gucci because I do love name stuff, but I don't get crazy. But you think about Prada. Prada didn't just say, hey, we're Prada, and everybody started Prada. They had to build their name up to get to where they were to say, oh, that's a brand. If I could put it into terms of the dance industry, I'm sure that Bob Fosse didn't just say, here I am, this is my brand. He had to work on his craft and be able to say who he was before anybody could take him seriously. And then his name became his brand. I have a brand of being an international teacher that travels around the world and gets to choreograph around the world. But I had to build that brand up. Everybody just sees these Instagram pictures of me flying and I'm in Santorini, I'm in business class here, I'm in a first class restaurant here, I'm in Paris with my mom there, and they're just seeing an instant image of what it was. Nobody's looking at the work that it took to get there, but the work that it took to get me there is the reason that I can fly in business class, that I can go to Santorini on vacation, that I can go and teach in Tahiti, that I can go and teach in Africa and teach in Kenya in poor neighborhoods. I mean, those are the things that I do and I want to do with my life that make me who I am and raise my brand. I'm not necessarily in the entertainment industry as much as maybe I would like to, but one of those things about knowing your lane is maybe I'm a better teacher, choreographer in the world than I am a better teacher or choreographer in Los Angeles, because maybe that's not my lane. It could be if I took that lane, but I have taken my lane to be global. So I know who I am as a teacher and I know who I am as a choreographer. And you've got to know those things before you can actually be a brand.
A lot of dancers are frustrated because their careers are not going as planned. Have you experienced something like this, and what did you do to overcome it?
Yes, I have experienced this. I think anybody who's experienced failure has experienced this. There's been a lot of jobs that I've auditioned for in the States that I was very frustrated at that I didn't get. But what I did is go back to my mentors and say, I'm so frustrated because I didn't get this job. And Cindra, one of my mentors, said, well, what was the job about? And I told her what the job was about, and she'd say, well, why do you think you didn't get the job? And then I would sit there and have to cut the conversation with her and realize why I didn't get the job. That's why I think it's so important to have mentors or people that will back you up. I know that Brendon has a program where he's training dancers and everything, but I also know that Brendon is very good at talking to people about, what's going on in your business. Why isn't this working for you? And I don't think a lot of people are doing that. If they don't think you're trying to figure out what's going on. I've seen and heard a lot of dancers go, oh, that choreography sucked, or oh, that choreographer sucked, or that job was blah, blah, blah. And it's only because they didn't get the job. And if you don't do the research to say, why didn't I get the job, then that's where you're going to fall short. It's really important that you get to know who you are, find out why you didn't get the job so that you can move on. So yes, I've had my share of frustration, but I found out why I was frustrated. And most people don't find out why they're frustrated. And once you know how to do that, you can move on to the next level.
Okay, so before we get to the speed round, what's next for you? Speed round. What's next for you? Is there anything exciting in the pipeline you want to tell us about?
Ooh, yes. So last year I took a hiatus with my company, Commonality Dance Company, which has been around for over 18 years. Companies change all the time, and I had some company dancers move back home to other countries. My energy, my battery, Shannon Novak, has just had her second child, and so I don't think she can be my principal dancer for much longer. I know that she probably will try to be, even with 2 kids on her arm, and she's bad enough to do it. But you have to realize that life moves on, progression changes, and life moves on. So a lot of my dancers, I'm happily and proud for them, have moved on to a different career, or they've changed directions, and I'm really happy about that. But that also opens the door for me to have new company members. I've been traveling the world to find these new company members, and I found 3 so far. I'm looking for 7 more. 5. I want to have a total of 5 boys and 5 girls. And my goal is to have these international dancers come to LA, have living accommodations and salary. Everything will be taken care of. And then we're going to tour the world once we're done with creating this show. So that's what's happening with Commonality. I'm about to start a travel blog. I'm about to start a YouTube page because Brendon Hansford told me you need to have a YouTube page, and he knows what he's doing. So I'm going to start working on my YouTube page, so look out for that. And I'm getting ready to do my Commonality benefit show, which I do every year. It'll happen in April. I'm really excited because every year I've been adding a dancer. So the first year I did it was all duets, and then it was all trios, and it was all quartets, and now this year it's all quintets. So it's going to be a great event. I'm going to bring all these international choreographers in to bring their pieces, and obviously some LA choreographers to do their pieces, as well as the dance company Commonality. I'm excited to go back to teach. I also teach at AMDA, which is American School of Dramatic Arts, and I'm excited to go back teach there. I know the Edge Performing Arts Center just had a new round of scholarships come in, so I'm excited to go back and whip them into shape. And I'm just going to keep doing me and keep doing the best that I can be. I plan on teaching to the best of my ability and training the best that I can. I'm really proud to say that Dance Magazine said Adam Parson churns out unstoppable dancers. So I'm going to keep that title and keep doing the best that I can.
So this is something I'm introducing now for all the interviews on my vlog, is a quick fire round. So
Okay.
I'm going to ask everybody the same questions that sits on the couch.
Okay.
So, you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Favourite colour?
Blue.
Favourite city?
Nairobi.
Favourite food?
Korean.
Favourite artist?
Sade.
Favourite TV show?
The Golden Girls.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Dog or cat?
Cat. No, I'm kidding. Dog.
Tea or coffee?
Both sometimes.
Night in or night out?
Definitely night in.
Okay, last question. Do you prefer blondes, brunettes or redheads?
Depends on the country.
Ooh, on that cliffhanger. So, thank you so much for coming and sitting on the couch and doing an interview with me today, Adam.
You're welcome.
If anybody wants to follow you, how can they find you?
I'm on Instagram with @Adam Parson. You can search me on YouTube, and I do have, I think it's Adam Parson as well, YouTube/Adam Parson. There's not a lot of videos up there, but that is going to change very soon. And I'm on Facebook under Adam Parson as well. I also have a website, adamparson.com. I also have another website that's called Raptor View Aerial Drone Media, which I completely forgot to talk about because I am a drone operator as well. And I have one more, but I can't remember what it was, so that's it.
Okay guys, so I know he can't hear you, but everyone say a massive thank you for Adam to come and join us and join this interview. Hopefully
Thank you.
It wasn't too intense.
No, it wasn't intense at
Pretty
all.
good.
It was fun.
Okay, so remember to go and like and subscribe to his new channel, his YouTube channel. And of course, like, comment and subscribe to this video. The more you like, the more you comment, the more I'm going to find people to interview. And obviously I have lots of videos like dance videos, dance tutorials, behind the scene vlogs and my educational vlogs. So make sure you go and check that out. I will see you all again soon. So bye bye for now.
Bye.
Here we go.